out in the vast, unforgiving expanse of the great American desert. Where the sun beats down and mirages dance on the horizon, there are stories. Legends of lost gold, tales of wandering spirits. But none are as perplexing, as downright bizarre, as the legend of Ethelberg, the town that wasn't there. Most of the year, this stretch of desert is exactly what you'd expect. Sand, rock, and the occasional hardy cactus. But for one day and one day only, something impossible happens. From the empty dunes, a town rises. If towns had a cloak of invisibility, this one bought the premium version. 1 minute, there's nothing but miles of golden sand. The next, a fully formed settlement stands as if it's been there for centuries. We're talking streets, buildings, even the faint flicker of gas lamps, despite there being no gas lines for 1,000 miles. It's a place that defies logic, appearing with the sunrise and vanishing with the sunset. For 24 hours, Ethelberg is real. And then, it's a memory, a ghost on the wind. Over the decades, a handful of bewildered travelers have stumbled upon it. Their stories all share a common thread of disbelief and wonder. We found one such wanderer, a retired truck driver named Hank, who saw it back in '88. He described driving his rig, fighting off sleep when he saw lights where no lights should be. Thinking it was an unreported town, he pulled over. What he found was a scene straight out of a history book. The people were dressed in 19th century attire, going about their business as if it were 1888, not 1988. They spoke to him, but he couldn't understand a word. It was a language that sounded ancient, melodic, yet utterly foreign. He tried to take a picture, but his camera, a trusty Polaroid that had never failed him, simply clicked and spat out a black, undeveloped square. Another account comes from a group of hikers in 2012. They wandered into Ethelberg midday, mesmerized by its architecture. One of them, a woman named Clara, checked her phone. It was 2 p.m. They explored for what felt like an hour, maybe two. When she looked at her phone again, it read 2:05 p.m. Yet her pocket watch, a gift from her grandfather, had its hands spinning wildly before stopping completely. 5 minutes had passed in the real world, but inside Ethelberg, hours had seemingly been erased. Time disappears here faster than your salary after Black Friday. It's not just a place out of space. It's a place out of time. So, what's it like inside this temporal mirage? Based on the few fleeting accounts, it's profoundly strange. The streets are clean, almost unnaturally so. The architecture is a baffling mix of Victorian England and something that doesn't quite fit any known historical period. There are no cars, no modern technology, only the clip-clop of horses that don't seem to leave hoof prints. The most unsettling feature, reported by nearly everyone who's been there, are the symbols. Carved into door frames, painted on walls, glowing with a soft internal light. They're not letters, not hieroglyphs, just intricate, spiraling patterns that seem to shift and writhe when you're not looking directly at them. It's as if the town itself is trying to communicate, but its language is one of geometry and light. And then there are the residents. They look human, but there's a certain stillness to them, an ethereal quality. They interact, they trade goods, they live their lives in this 24-hour cycle. But try to engage with them, and the illusion shatters. One explorer recounted trying to ask a man for directions. The man turned, looked straight through him, and spoke in that same unknown lilting tongue. Then, right before the explorer's eyes, the man shimmered, his form becoming translucent. Before he just vanish, either that guy teleported, or I need to blink slower. You're left standing on a silent street, questioning your own sanity. Naturally, the scientific community has tried to get a handle on this phenomenon. They've set up equipment, run simulations, and debated endlessly. The results? Utter confusion. Satellite imagery and ground-penetrating radar show absolutely nothing in that location 364 days a year. On the day of its appearance, their most sensitive instruments go haywire. Compasses spin uselessly, GPS signals are lost, and delicate sensors are overloaded with energy readings that make no sense. The prevailing theories sound like they're straight from a science fiction novel. Some physicists propose it's a localized temporal fold, a bubble of a different time period momentarily overlapping with our own. Others suggest it's a dimensional bleed-through, a brief glimpse into a parallel reality. Geologists have checked for magnetic anomalies or strange mineral deposits, but they found nothing out of the ordinary. The data is a mess of contradictions. Scientists hate this town. It ruins all their charts. It's an anomaly that refuses to be measured, a puzzle with no solution. It simply exists, defiant and inexplicable. And then, as evening approaches, the final act begins. As the sun dips below the desert horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, Ethelberg begins its departure. It doesn't crumble or fall. It fades. It starts subtly. The edges of the building soften, becoming transparent. The sounds of the town, the distant chatter, the blacksmith's hammer grow faint, replaced by the whisper of the wind. You can start to see the sand dunes right through the walls of the saloon. The people on the streets become ghostly apparitions, their forms dissolving like smoke. The whole process takes less than an hour. The solid structures of an entire town turn to mist, swirling in the desert wind. The light from the gas lamps is the last thing to go, twinkling out one by one like dying stars. Then there's a final silent flash of light on the horizon, and nothing. The desert is empty again. The sand is smooth, with no trace that anything or anyone was ever there. And just like that, gone. Poof. Even my ex didn't disappear this fast. Ethelberg, the one-day city, returns to wherever it comes from, leaving behind only questions and a handful of stories that sound too crazy to be true. But every year, as that specific day dawns, a few hopefuls, a few curious souls, and a few scientists with fried equipment stare out at the empty desert waiting for the town that shouldn't exist to exist once more. Thanks for watching. If you're into mysteries that mess with your head, hit that subscribe button. You never know what we'll uncover next.